What is going on, guys? Fitcho here, and welcome back to the Fitcho Career. It's episode number 19, round 10, race 1, and we're getting near the end of the season. It's the last European round of the season, and the fourth last round of the season. Of course, we're here in Italy at one of the most famous tracks in the world, of course. It is the Autodrome Nacional Monza, a brilliant track, and I'm really looking forward to getting into this race. Of course, last time out in Belgium, we had literally the perfect weekend. 2 pole positions and 2 race wins. You couldn't ask for a much more perfect weekend. The only way that one could have gone better if we got the fastest lap in both of those races. Hopefully we can continue that form into Monza, but I'm not that confident. It's not one of my best tracks on the calendar, but with the slipstream and stuff, you never know what can happen in the race because it can create some great overtaking opportunities, and with the field so tightly bunched, if I get it right, get my tactics right, I might be able to use the slipstream to my advantage, and my pace deficit might not be so noticeable, but I'm not too sure how much I am actually off the pace, so I guess we should jump into this qualifying session and find out. Here we go, qualifying here at Monza for today's feature race as we head down the very long pit straight down towards the first chicane. 150 meter board hard onto the brakes, down to second gear, less than 100k an hour, down to about 60 through the chicane, and then onto the power as quickly as you can as we accelerate up towards the flat out Curva Grande as we're currently sitting in 5th place. We've got Norman Nasso leading this qualifying session, now down to the second chicane, down to 3rd gear, careful with the sausage curb on the inside, and careful through there, get back on the power as quickly as you can. We're now up into 1st place and into the first Lesmo. You really can attack these corners, and you really have to get the most out of your lap, and I could have attacked that first Lesmo a bit more, and I missed my turn-in point to the second Lesmo, and that has cost us. Down to 8th place now as we go down the DRS straight towards the famous Ascari chicane as Norman Nato is still leading and hard on the brakes just before the 100 meter board, down to 4th gear. I turned in a little bit too late, and as you can see, that's cost me as it stuffed up my run through the whole section. They're an hour in the gravel, a disastrous couple corners there as now we head down the another long straight here at Monza, down towards the famous Parabolica, hard on the brakes, down to 4th gear, and then get onto the power as quickly as you possibly can and let the car flow out to try not to wash off as much speed as you can. Now up to the line for 14th place. I think Fawako took pole. Oh, apologies. Charles Leclerc has actually taken pole as there was a dead heat between teammates for the front row of the grid. That is absolutely crazy up the front. The second row of the grid consists of Norman Nato and Alexander Albon, and it looks like Alexander Albon and Artem Markov have also set the exact same lap time for 4th and 5th. And that's actually a big jump back because you're only half a tenth off pole in 5th. Then it jumps back to 2 tenths off pole with Sergei Sorokin in 6th, with Louis Delatraz in 7th and Gustav Malia in 8th. So that's an all racing engineering row 4. And then Raffaele Marcello and Oliver Rowland in 9th and 10th. Now championship rival Antonio Giovinazzi is starting 11th. Luca Ghiotto just behind him. And then Jordan King and myself. So it's looking quite interesting. My championship rival is only a couple places up the grid. So this is going to be a very interesting race, especially with a long run down to the first corner and then a very tight first corner. So it is all nice and sunny for today's feature race here in Monza, and the strategy for the race is a 2-stop strategy, starting on soft, swapping to another set of softs, and then onto a set of mediums for the 27 lap feature race here at Monza. And this is going to be an interesting race start, down in 14th place. Like I said, it is a very long run down to the first corner. A good launch is crucial, but then it really bottlenecks into that chicane, and there will most likely be carnage, and it's just a matter of keeping it clean on the first lap. We'll see how we go. Without further ado, let's jump into the race. Here we go, engage the clutch, get the revs up as the lights come on. We've got 5 lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. The feature race here in Italy is underway as we get a pretty decent start from P14 on the grid. We're still right behind Luca Giotto as he head down towards turn 1 and hard on the brakes, going to look up the inside. He's being hit from behind. I'm not too sure who that was, but someone's given us a little bit of a hit and will have damaged their front wings. We're side by side with Giovinazzi and we get past our championship rivals. We're now up into P10, the last points paying position as we head through Curva Grande for the first time in this race. And it looks like the two racing engineering teammates are going side by side up ahead as we head down into the second chicane, and Delatraz looks to have got the upper hand on Gustav Mallier as we've got Raffaele Marcello directly in front of us. We go into the first Lesmo on lap number 1, and then once we get through the second Lesmo, we'll chuck it up into Rich Revs, into the second Lesmo, and now into Rich Revs. We'll have the slipstream on Raffaele Marcello. Of course, no DRS because it is only lap 1, but Rich Revs and slipstream should be enough. We're gaining. We pull to the inside of Raffaele Marcello and move ourselves up into 9th place and past the Campos, and now we've got the two racing engineering cars, Gustav Mallier and Louis Delatraz, up in front of us as we now head down towards the famous Parabolica. We're right on the back of Gustav Mallier as we end the first lap. We're going to pull to the inside of Gustav Mallier as he pulls to the outside of his teammate Louis Delatraz. We go past both racing engineering cars and we move ourselves up into 7th place as they're going 3 wide in front of us. This can only end in tears. It looks like they've actually managed to all get through. We've got the two ARTs going side by side, and we're going to make this 3 wide as we head through Curva Grande. Very opportunistic, and now to the outside of Charles Leclerc and Artem Markelov and Norman Nato have had an amazing run off the first chicane, and we've slingshotted ourselves all the way up into 2nd place just like that. An amazing sequence of corners as they all got tangled up at the first chicane. I managed to get a beautiful run off the chicane and past all of them, and now we have to try and chase down Antonio Fuoco, who's breaking away in the lead of this race. We are right on the back of the race leader, Antonio Fuoco, and we've got DRS. We pull to the outside as we head down towards the Ascari chicane, and we take the lead of the race here in Monza. End of lap 8, and we're coming into the pit lane. Get the car stopped nicely, and we have a massive lead at this stage. I think it was about 15 seconds to Giovinazzi in second. That being said, a lot of the cars that I did pass in that one massive go, which was absolutely crazy, they all started on super softs, so they've already made their first pit stops. Giovinazzi and Sergio Seta haven't, but we're going to come back out of the pit lane. I'm not too sure, whereas there's yellow flags on the pit straight. I'm not too sure what's happened back there. We've come out in front of Fuoco, yes, just in front of Fuoco, I think. Or maybe not in front of Fuoco, as I've broken too early into the first corner. And he's just snuck past us there, as we've now got Nick de Vries right behind us. We've got Fuoco directly in front of us, so the undercut has worked for Fuoco. He's gone to another set of super softs, so he's got at least another 2 stops to go in this race, I would say. I've only got 1, boy. We're going to go for the move up the inside into the second chicane, and we make that move stick into 3rd place. We've got the 2 MP Motorsport cars up ahead, neither which have stopped in this race yet. We're right on the back of Sergio Seta, and he's going very slow out of Parabolica, and we're going to pull to his inside. We're about to get DRS, as I think Giovinazzi was in the pit lane, so we've retaken the lead of this race as we pass both MP Motorsport cars, 1 in the pit lane and 1 on track. Here comes Antonio Fuoco up our inside as we head down towards Parabolica, and he's made that move stick for the lead of this race, but he's taken a very odd line through Parabolica. I'm not too sure what he was up to there. A very strange line, but you're going to jump into his slipstream, chuck it up into Rich Revs, and open the DRS flap. We are gaining, pulling to the inside of the Prima driver onto the brakes for the first chicane. He's still alongside us, but he's not anymore, and we are back into the lead of this feature race. Luca Giotto is out of this race. What has happened to Luca Giotto? It looks like, and Norman Nato's out of this race as well. It looks like it's happened on the pit straight near the first chicane. Is this going to trigger a safety car? It doesn't seem like it's going to, but 2 big names are out of this feature race. Here comes Fuoco. He's pulling to our inside as we head down towards Parabolica. It looks like he's got the move done, but we're going to try and go right around the outside of the Prima at Parabolica. Can we hold on? Not quite. We can't quite make that stick. But he's pulling off into the pit lane anyway, so it doesn't matter whatsoever as we take the lead of this race, as we are actually starting to lap some cars. That's Felix Sorellos that we are now lapping, and a few other cars. I think that looks like a Arden just up ahead. End of lap 16, and we're coming into the pit lane, and we just get the car stopped in time. It's going to be our final stop of the race, swapping onto the medium tires and then going to the end. We have rejoined the race down in 6th place. I saw Delatraz, Sergio Seta Camara, Antonio Giovinazzi, and I think it was Fawako all go by. I'm not too sure how many of them are actually going to go to the end of the race, but I definitely am. Fawako definitely won't. I saw him on super soft tires yet again, so he's gone supers, and he must be swapping onto maybe softs or something for the end of the race. And I think Seta Camara is on softs, so he'll be going to another set of softs, I believe, because he started on mediums. And the same strategy, they're using the same strategy for Antonio Giovinazzi, who's a little bit further up the road. There we go. I'm pretty sure I saw Fawako into the pits, and I did. We're now into the lead of this race with a 15-second lead back to Markelov, or something a little bit less to Fawako if he doesn't get jumped by Artem, which he does get jumped by Artem Markelov. So we have a 15-second lead with only 5 laps left to run here in Italy. Oh my god, Sorokin's backwards on the apex of Parabolica. What on earth has happened to Sergei Sorokin? I do not know. There is only a handful of laps left, an 11-second lead back to Artem Markelov, and Sergio Seta Camara is on course to get on the podium. And around Parabolica for the final time here in Monza on Saturday. We're going to come up to the line to win the feature race here in Monza. Get in, a great way to start the weekend here in Monza. 14th to 1st in the feature race, and to be honest, starting outside the top 10 and being able to start on any tire I want was a blessing in disguise in that race. Get in, another race victory, exactly what we want. So we have won the feature race here in Italy after starting 14th on the grid. Joining us on the podium is Artem Markelov and Sergio Seta Camara. I think that's his first podium of the season. He also started way down the field, down in 18th place. In 4th place, just off the podium, is Louis Delatraz, then Alexander Albon and Charles Leclerc, the pole sitter, dropping down to 6th place. Nicholas Latifi is 7th, Jordan King 8th. Now, championship rival Antonio Giovinazzi in 9th, scoring 2 points. And Nobuharu Matsushita rounds out the top 10 and the points, and he is getting 1 important point for Carlin, but I don't think that's going to be enough for them to jump back in front of Arden just yet. Outside the points, we have Nick de Vries in 11th, with Emil Bernstorff 12th, our teammate Sean Galisle in 13th. I think that's one of his best results of the season. Of course, he is the only driver yet to score points in this championship, and he's getting closer, only 3 places off at this time. In 14th place was Oliver Rowland, with Raffaele Marcello in 15th, so something did happen between those two. Then Igor Rudzev finished 16th, with Felix Sorellos in 17th, Gustav Malia down in 18th, with Sergei Sorokin in 19th, and the final finisher. And we did see him backwards at Parabolica at one stage during the race, and of course, Antonio Fawako, Norman Nato, and Luca Giotto did not finish that race. So after our amazing drive from 14th to 1st place, we've extended our championship lead to 32 points over Antonio Giovinazzi. We're currently sitting on 187 compared to Giovinazzi's 155. In 3rd place is Oliver Rowland, 25 points behind Giovinazzi on 130, with Louis Delatraz only 3 points behind him in 4th. Norman Nato is in 5th with 114 points, with Raffaele Marcello and Charles Leclerc in 6th and 7th on 103 and 102 points respectively. So very, very close between those two, and not far back off those two is Luca Giotto in 8th on 97 points. Alexander Albon is in 9th on 86 points, with Jordan King rounding out the top 10 on 83 points, with Fawako and Gustav Malia currently tied for 11th place with 75 points each. Racing Engineering continue to lead the team's championship with 202 points, 9 points more than their closest rival Dams in 2nd place. 4 points behind Dams is MP Motorsport in 3rd with 189 points, with Trident and Campos just behind them with Trident in 4th, only 2 points back on 187, then 1 point further back in 5th is Campos. Prima are currently in 6th with 177 points, with Russian Time in 7th on 165. ART Grand Prix are currently in 8th on 152 with Rapax, falling back a little bit on 133, about 19 behind their nearest rival. And of course, you got Arden and Carlin right at the back of the field on 13 points and 9 respectively. So that is all for today, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to smash the hell out of that like button. If you are new to the channel, make sure you do subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Fitcho, and I'll see you all next time.